Hello.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Привет, 你好. Okay, for the consonants, I won't get into details, but it's the same principle. And if you compare, say, the three systems again, you will see that sometimes some consonant sounds are unique. For example, the sound in English is quite rare, and you don't have it in French or in Spanish. So a French or a Spanish speaker will have to learn that. There's all kinds of differences here, because this is when, if you know a little bit about this, you'll be able to actually pick and choose a little bit. For example, the R sound. In Spanish, there are two. And actually, this reminds me of a fact that if anybody tells you you have to be gifted in order to learn languages and to learn pronunciation, don't believe them, because I was terrible in my own language when I only got the Spanish R at the age of 4.5, and I couldn't pronounce the two R's, R and R. So, and I was able to do it later, and now I pronounce well in several languages, and yeah, and I started quite late, actually. So that's a parenthesis to tell you, please don't believe that you can't do it right now. But again, back to the R sound. If I started speaking to you in English, saying very, very good, you may hear an accent, but it won't impede communication, because there are no two sounds that will change the meaning of the word. The R is fluid. It's pretty easy to pronounce however you want in English, and you'll still be understood. However, if I don't know the difference between B and D, then I'm going to be in trouble, because there are a lot of words that need those two as distinguishing sounds. So that's it basically for the chart. I won't bore you with the details unless somebody is interested, and if so, please ask me questions. But basically, I just wanted to show you how it's different in your brain. You will only need about 20 to 40 plus the prosody, like I said before. And in some languages, that little P or M sound that you saw will get split into two. So, for example, in English, you have only one T or one P, except that when it's in a string, there will be differences. For example, pill, the P in pill and the P in spill are not exactly the same. If you were recording it and measuring it in a sonogram, you would see a difference, but it's very subtle. Okay, so those you don't need to worry about. But in other languages, like in Russian, for example, in English you have one T sound, and in Russian you have two, and they are different, because if you say brat, for example, that's brother, and if you say brat, it means to take. So completely different words. T, and t. And it's a very slight difference. You may think I'm crazy if you didn't hear the difference, but as you train yourself, you'll be able to hear it, and it'll become easy. So why am I saying it's easy? Well, because, or doable rather, because we were all born with it. Did you know that up to the age of maybe 6 or 8 months old, you were able to recognize absolutely all the differences in a language, in the sounds? You were a potential polyglot. You could hear many subtle differences in sounds that now you can't, because, well, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the brain has to economize a little bit, and past that age, and especially closer to 1 year old, the baby starts understanding that he or she needs words, and that anything that isn't required to make a word different is not really essential. So we all forgot. But basically, I have the perfect prop here, don't laugh. This is the brain, right? A colander, yes. Because when you're a baby, each of these little holes represent a sound. This is all you can hear as before you're 8 months old, right? So if I tell you a p or a more aspirated p, or a less aspirated b, you will hear the difference. But with time, you will stop hearing them, and that's why I just showed you the chart a minute ago, because those will those tell you where the sounds got grouped into one. Okay, so another funny brain. This is my Spanish brain. Okay, just for the vowels, because it's not big enough. Sorry, I don't have a big enough brain, but I only have a, e, I, o, u. Okay, so I'm walking around and learning languages like that, and I start learning English, for example. So I need to train my brain, for example, with this E sound here, to split it into E as in beat and I as in bit, or eat and it. Okay, so that's going to require some effort and some exercises in sound discrimination. But once you've done that, that's going to be the topic of the next video. Once you've done that, you have gained a lot in terms of what you can understand, say, everything. So let me remove my brain here and add these two, I and E. See? Well, my brain is a little wonky today, but you see what I mean, right? So this one got split into two, and each time that's what you're going to do with each of your sounds. Or in reverse, if you're an English speaker, you're going to merge them. You're going to merge this E and this I into one. Okay? So that's our challenge when we're trying to learn how to pronounce. This only concerns sounds, of course, specific phonemes. There's also rules for how to combine sounds, and that's going to be a little different. All languages have them pretty much, and you have to learn those too. But yeah, basically that's it. If you want to regain that capability that you had as a child, all you have to do is expose yourself to those differences and force your brain to hear one or the other. And it's doable. I've done it many times, and even starting quite late. And once you do that, like I said, it takes, maybe 2 weeks to get used to that, just 5 minutes a day. And then you start building a sensitivity for sounds that allows you to pick up on the differences more easily. And you don't have to do boring exercises forever or anything. And then you can also start focusing more on the melody of the language, on everything that that creates the string, the full sentence. And in no time you'll be sounding pretty good. So I hope you liked it, and that you stay tuned for some tips on how to now tackle this problem. And see you next time. Click on like and subscribe and all those things.